Hello there, everybody. It is an absolute pleasure to be back here this week on Girls Run These Worlds for Belinay, the Deathless Lake. We are here for session 3, whose title I will reveal soon enough. But first, I'm going to let my wonderful cast who is here and all fantastic as always introduce themselves. So, introduce who you are, your pronouns, and your character and pronouns. And if you want to give a short description of them, by all means do so. But let's start with the ever mischievous and never a menace whatsoever, Casper.
Osio, I am Casper, the MB Ghost. My pronouns are they, he, and I am playing Tahirli, whose pronouns are fight me. Um, and they are the most roguiest of rangers. Big, satty emo kid. Love them. They don't cause problems at all, ever.
Nope. And they've never caused a lesbian couple to lose their makeout spot ever. Anyways, carrying on from that wonderful introduction, we have the always impressive Mark. Take it away.
Hey, what's good, beautiful people? It's your 41-year-old boy, Mark J. My pronouns are any and all, and I'm playing Tajane, sometimes called Taj. Imagine Ambessa, who was broken by trauma instead of forged by it. That's kind of the vibe for my character. Ambessa from Arcane. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it um, with caution because season 2 gets stupid. Yeah, that's me. Thank you.
And last but not least, our always impressive performer, theater person, and just an absolute delight to the table, Ran. Take it away.
Hi, my name is Ran, she, her pronouns. I am playing Fear Hixa, she, her pronouns. She is your necromancy Barbie, the loud housekeeper. She is a lick of darkness in the morning. She's a beam of warm light in the night. You can see forever in her eyes, which shimmers like aged spirit. And if you're lucky, you might find yourself exhale a sigh of relief as you blink away a tear.
Do we need to carry on from the session after that, everybody? I think we're all good. Okay, let's wrap it up for today. We're all good. But
I need to get better at my intros. Like, damn.
Rand just is always at a 10, even if she's functionally at a 5, she's always at a 10. This is how we
Yeah.
know she's here. But to those of you who do not know me, my name is Angela Lemos Mogrovejo. I use she, they pronouns, and I will be your ink master, is I think one of the working titles I have for the GM role here. So before I continue on, I want to say that we are using the Print Weaver system as created by N.L. Morrison, who is fantastic. And I know as occasionally when seeing our posts go live, been getting super excited. And as they should, as the system is quite delicately insidious and fun. And I think more people should consider trying out systems like these that have quite a lot of room for people to die. There's a lot of room for people to get very hurt in these systems. And this is a system in which death is, if not a constant, it is actually likely to happen. So, because of that, and because this series takes a rather more grim tone than a lot of the other series that I've run, I like to give a disclaimer at the beginning of sessions that should you ever reach a point that you don't necessarily feel comfortable or you're starting to get in a place where mentally this doesn't feel amazing, please feel free to bow out. We understand that your mental health is significantly more important than keeping watch over this. But thank you if you are able to stay on. And with that, we're going to move into episode 3, Bonds Lay Broken, which is not ominous at all. So, uh, don't give me that look, Casper. You know what I'm about. You know what I'm like already. You've had me for 2 sessions. You know what I'm like. But so, as a quick recap of last session, our group, having come upon essentially the aftermath of a bloody attack on a caravan that was attempting to make its way north to the winter settlement of Belinay, a place that is a small isle settlement surrounded currently by a frozen lake that will soon melt as the next season comes in. The group decided to set off after a massive creature, an ink monster that had appeared. and found themselves witness to rather strange things happening, namely what appeared to be two humanoid-like ink monsters fighting a third creature. This sort of behavior is not something really any travelers in to their knowledge have really seen happen before, and the group, seizing the opportunity to take down the weakened creature after the first set of creatures that had fought it had hurt it a bit, managed to successfully take it down before any significant harm could happen. Regrouping to meet with Tia, or Anastasia, the current print weaver and sort of maiden of providence, the manipulator of ink that would normally be one of the people to bring them back. The party arrived at a moment of someone from the caravan having survived, because this was their first time returning from the ink of death as a traveler, comforting them and getting a sense of what their next sense of direction would have to be. The group has decided to head over to the false settlement of Ceres to seek out an individual by the name of Dimitri, who should be able to give them more information as to what might be happening and going on in their current situation. The group traveled on the road, found themselves amidst a fallen temple and chapel that was crowded with frozen statues of various people who they discovered still were sort of alive in a way, but not aware that they were also dead. And despite the eagerness of one of the party members to just set the entire thing on fire and destroy it, the group sought a much more delicate way of resolving the issue and have discovered an insignia that none of them is aware of, none of them has previously dealt with. But in a rather peculiar spot within beneath the podium of one of the places where someone would have given mass. Carrying forward, the group has made their way and stopped at a temporary outpost known as Portunus, where our own Firhixa has actually gazed into a pool of ink there and found herself just flying away through the realms of memory and existence to bear witness to some mysterious stranger breaking a section of Belinay's ice and causing a wolf creature to emerge out of it, seemingly filled with an imprint of a soul that had long passed. Tahirli, at this point in time, being only mildly accosted by the local group of thieves who run this small little outpost, pushed them off, but their presence has been made known to people there in Portunus, and that is where we pick up, as our group is still at least a few days away from making it to Ceres. So, party, you managed to have a relatively safe spot. You can stay for the night in Portunus if you would like, or you can continue to make a little bit more headway, and it'll probably save you a chunk of a day's journey should you keep going and be out in the wild. But as you know, when you are out in the wild, there is always much more risk. So what is going through everyone's mind? What's happening in this moment?
Tahirli is like, guys, don't unpack. We're just on our way, kind of in a mood. They do not like the ink well situation, especially with what happened between Firhixa and Taj, and like unlocking a traumatic memory from Taj, and Tahirli is like, nope, 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 nope. Lots of nope. Can we go like now?
What's your rush? We just got here. We could use a rest.
Rest, yeah. Happily, more than happy to agree. We'll get food. We'll get drink. We'll read a nice, like, book or poem or something and then get the hell out of here.
We can do some good if we stay the night. Prepare the locals of what to come.
Or we could do that. Whatever. I am not comfortable here. What about you, Belle? What do you want to do?
I'm honestly, I don't really feel like I have much of an opinion here with everybody. I mean, I'm relatively new to all of this, so I kind of defer to y'all's judgment.
Well, Bella, you might be new, but you have the distinct advantage of you're someone who is not going to make any assumptions based on your previous experience because you're tabula rasa, and that is a valuable asset for all of us.
I honestly then I'd prefer to stay here for the night if we can. I More people around generally is better. I mean, well, I used to think more people around was better, but I still think it's better. She definitely has a very uncomfortable look about her. Like she's still oddly unnerved by just kind of being here, being alive. Like you can tell she's just a little jittery. And I have actually rolled her gear now, so I have much more of a description for her. She actually has a jacket that's helping keep her warm that looks as though it has kind of quilted material. And she has a short sword that she's keeping to her side. And she looks as though she has a small ring on one of her fingers that it looks like it has a symbol of a heart on it that has a knife being plunged right through it.
Hmm.
Huh.
I prefer to stay if we can. I think it's better. And I honestly, she doesn't say anything else, but you can see her eyes drifting every now and then to the ink pool that other folks are randomly taking looks at.
Would you like to gaze into it? I understand that you're still trying to figure out who you are. And if I can be completely honest with you, after all this time, I can still relate to that. You don't know me very well yet, but I don't even know my name. Memories of other people, I think, as well as perhaps my own, just go through me sometimes, and I take it as my own, and as they become who I am. But I think you have an opportunity to find out a little bit more about who you are, and we'll help you every step of the way.
I'd like to take a look, if that's okay.
We'll catch you if you fall.
We're here to support you all the way.
She sort of looks tentatively into Hurley's direction. She's like, what do you feel about this? That's basically what her expression on her face is like. I'm supportive.
Go ahead, do you. Whatever.
Is that the best you can give right now? Come on, at least they obviously need our support.
Look into the inkwell that gave him or her traumatic memories. Go ahead, if you really want to.
You know what? To be fair, T. Hurley actually kind of has a point right there. That's actually not wrong. But she does actually. Bella does take the time to go and take a look in the inkwell, and you sort of see, and this is something that didn't happen for Fear Hixa. Her eyes kind of gloss over with ink themselves, almost like it's like her vision is overtaken with it, and she pulls back after a short while, and she's crying, but they seem like after when you look at her, they're like tears of joy. I think I saw a library at one point, but it wasn't just sort of something people put together on the road or anything. It used to be just a small spot somewhere in, I think, a city. It used to, there are people who would visit. There was someone at a desk who was very kind. And I think I saw someone who looked like me. I think maybe my great grandmother or something. I don't know.
That sounds lovely.
It was kind of nice. It's nice to know that there was a time that wasn't just like this.
Happy memories.
You can predict what kind of memory is going to come back to hit you. Over time, some of them are going to be good, some are bad, but they are who you are, who you once were, and they remain.
Thanks. She sort of has a little bit more lightness to her step. And she looks like she goes over to the massive sort of like central fire that's keeping this place warm, and where there are some other people who are very, very, very kindly sharing bits of food and such with everyone around them.
It's going to take her a while to adjust. This is to the two companions. Perhaps it's a good thing. Reminds us that we sometimes have to take a moment or two to take care of ourselves.
To take our time and find our own way.
Mm-hmm.
With support, of course.
I'm steadily eyeing, like, bombastic side eye the ink pit. Because I do not trust that whole situation. So I'm like half listening to everyone be like, yeah, she's gonna learn. Yeah, super support. I'm like, uh-huh.
Tahiri, are you afraid of what you're going to find out if you look into it?
No. That looks into the past, I look to the future.
That's what I was just thinking. You're someone who fights so hard for the future with no thought of the past, what it means, what it represents, before you tear it down.
The past holds no interest to me.
Time runs cyclically. If you do not understand that, there is no point in fighting for the future.
I only stick.
We-
Go ahead.
We come back. We return from the dead, and as though the past returns and become the future itself. We are what represents the past and the future, running like two snakes wrapping its head around its tail itself. Or it could be interesting. You can see something fun or something exciting. I'm
I'm
curious.
so good. I am not curious. My only purpose on this is to make room for the future.
But
A
what?
future. My only purpose is to make room for the future. I have no qualms in being part of the past. I just also don't need to look further back.
But what excites you about the future? There must be something there, something you envision, a hope or dream there for you. It can't just all be destruction and ignoring what came before. Is there something you're looking forward to?
A world without monsters.
That's it.
That's what we move forward for, so that our children can live a life, not just survive.
Do you know what you are building, Tahirli? If you do not look into the past, the future you're looking at after burning things, after making rooms, is just an empty space.
Others can hold space for the past and for memory and all that comes with it. That is others' purpose. It is not mine.
A
Are
minute
you
ago, you
giving
said.
yours? Sorry,
No,
go ahead.
a minute ago, you said children. The Healy. I'm thinking of parenthood in the future.
Ew. No.
You're the one who said it.
That does not mean my kids.
Well,
Ew. I can think of kids. I don't want kids. Tahirli is a whole solid 22 at most. So children are a hard no.
you're practically at your midlife at this point.
Yes. And my life will remain mine. I do not want kids.
You spend a lot of time running in the woods, right? Looking at Tahirli's bow and arrow, all of the ranger attires and things, hunting,
Yes.
being familiar with the woods and the nature. Have you
Yeah.
ever seen a fallen tree? The stumps lying on the ground, dead, a thing of the past.
Yes.
But from beyond it, from inside of it, have you ever seen a new leaf growing straight out of the carcass? And the past is going to nourish the future. And if you burn it down,
No, because it is being used, it is being remembered. Nature has a natural way of reusing the past. It is us who grow too sentimental about things that need to leave.
but we are reusing it. You said it yourself. What you're doing is simply destroying without giving anyone the opportunity to reuse it. You
Yes,
say that you're allowing the others to hold space for the past, but what you're doing is you're destroying that opportunity for the others.
you see destruction. I do not.
In time, I see a cycle. And just like this conversation, I feel like we're going in the same place over and over again. Is there? Should we rest for the night?
Yes, I want food.
There are people who are coming up to your group to offer different things. It looks as though this spot seems to be a bit of a mix of the food cultures that happen for Belinay and also the food cultures that are happening in Saris. So you are finding folks who have brought over things like hard ciders and various kinds of oils that are made from nuts and things that are often take a little bit longer to grow. And it looks as though someone has brought back some wild bird and deer, while a few other people seem as though they have very like hard aged cheeses they brought with them from Belinay as well. So there's a variety of different things that are available to eat. And it looks as though there's still some small availability of teas, though regrettably no coffee on this occasion.
I
People are
heard
very partial to their coffee being saved.
I heard cheese. I am very happy.
There is definitely very sharp cheddar available amongst some of the folks.
Yes. I will find them and whoever has like bread, like low, like butt ends of bread, and I will go on just a bite of bread, a bite of cheese, a bite of bread, a bite of cheese kind of situation.
Just two handing it like one after the
Yes.
other. It's quite good. Like folks have gotten very good at making sure that the cheeses are like aged to the exact amount. And it looks as though there's various folks talking about some small trading things that they're doing. And I would say to Hearly more than the other two members of the party does hear some folks saying, look, is there any way you could possibly get me something a little more special. You get the sense something that's very difficult to obtain, and you see one of the individuals who accosted you earlier to Hearly just talking with this person, being like, offer us a good favor, we'll see what we can do. There's a lot of that. You definitely see the thieves, while they're a little blunt and very strong arming with people at times. If someone is very clearly cannot pay any sort of price for the favor or good they're interested in, the thieves just sort of let them off. Just like, no, just enjoy your food. We're not going to take anything from you. At least not now. But we'll keep you in mind.
I respect that. I like in my head, I'm like, respect. And then I'm just still eating. I'm paying less attention to the food and more attention to the people. So it's like right now, instead of going, I'm like going through the motions of like, kind of deal.
And the rest of the party, as the evening is beginning to close, is there anything in particular you're up to before the night ends?
Well, I was hoping to find Taj in a moment of quiet and bring that uncomfortable moment that occurred at the inkwell earlier. I do want to ask a clarifying question, though.
Yes.
The person I saw who plunged into the ice and fished out the thing, that's not the same person I saw who was speaking with Taj in the memory, right?
No, it was different. You saw the Taj memory, and then you had another memory that appeared of this person just randomly breaking a section of the
I
lake,
see.
seemingly
Yes.
with the insignia that you saw.
I figured it was two different people, but for a moment there, I was like, "Are they the
I was
same
like, "Is
person?"
this the same person?" I was like, "No. Let's be very clear. No, one of Taj's previous loves did not just reincarnate somehow and do that. I wouldn't
Yeah.
go that route. I should have, but I won't go that route.
Great.
It would have been more interesting."
My brain went there. But Ferixa would find Taj and just sits down next to her, and I think she's holding like 2 cups of tea. Her own had quite a big splash of whiskey in there, and she'll hold out both of them and ask her to choose whichever ones she would like.
I lean forward and take kind of a light sniff from when I can smell the whiskey in one. I was like, I think that one's for you, Felix. I grab the one that's obviously not whiskeyed up.
Well, if you like, we could share. I was hoping that I could speak with you before we embrace the slumber of night. Something happened earlier, and I can tell that you were affected by it, and I'm sorry if I was the cause. But the farther we go on this road and the closer we get to the fall settlement, there's been the past seems to haunt me more than even before. And I had no control over what kind of things I received from the ink. Was that someone who meant a great deal to you?
They absolutely did. They were my main partner. Do you know the gopher boots I gave to Hearly?
Yeah.
Those were hers.
She had great taste.
Well, I gave them to her. So she may have. As a gift, they.
I meant for you. She had great taste.
You're far too kind. Yeah, she meant a lot to me, to say the least, and I miss her dearly. And I'm not even sure if she's dead.
She might not be. And even if she is, she's still with you. You remember her so clearly.
I do. I do. A, a painful memory that's riddled with joy at the same time.
There could be more joy. Will you tell me something about her?
She was one of my best hunters. She was small, quiet, fast. I mean, she could take down a deer with ease. Uh, Me at my stature, I'd rumble through the forest like a bull, but she was one of my best, and we grew so close. Long talks over wine, watching the sunset, baking. She was a horrible baker, but she meant so much to me.
I can tell.
I miss her. I miss my family. They were all taken so quickly. It was my first death, and when I woke and I got my bearings, I ran back to my home as fast as I could, and there were the boots standing in the middle of our home, surrounded by our dead family. But the boots were standing still. She must be out there somewhere. She set them up and left, or I don't know where she might be, but I still carry them with me now, hoping that I can give them back to her one day. I'll have to get them off to Yearly, but that's fine.
Either way, I hope you find an answer. And while we continue to search, which I'll help, of course, but I'll also be here to help you grieve. Because as long as there is still love, there will be grief. Because it is love's natural continuation. It simply means that you still love her, and that's a good thing.
It's a beautiful thing. Have you considered writing poetry,
Oh,
Felix? Maybe a book of poems? I mean, whenever we have time to settle down and do that kind of thing.
perhaps that's a way for me to finally determine a name for myself. That's a good idea.
You mentioned that earlier, not knowing who you are, not knowing yourself. How do you live that way? And
People start.
forgive me for being so forward. I don't mean to sound rude or inappropriate, but I just
Sometimes you live through life like dear Healy, who had such a strong conviction of what they're meant to do. And sometimes you live your life through your memory of the people you love. I think I hold strong to a purpose that I believe to be mine without understanding who I am and what role I'm meant to play. I think of myself as my connection to the others that passed by my window briefly. They started telling me the witch of the lighthouse, Firhixa, and that became the name I am known for. And I think that's a good enough title, name.
the witch of the lighthouse. Do you have any idea what that means?
I'm not sure. And sometimes I think I don't need to know. As long as I'm helpful, helping people, being a traveler, making connections from one place to another, remembering, connecting the past to the future.
You're almost at odds with our friend Tahili.
I hope that sometimes we can see through our sheer opposition and realize that we're quite the same.
They're not as tough as they make themselves out to be.
And I'm not as soft.
You are, what was the name? Zombie Barbie? Barbie of the Dead?
Necromancy.
Necromancy Barbie, yeah. Well, thank you for talking with me about it. It's a painful memory, but there's a lot of love and joy there too when I reflect on it. I only wish I could have done more to save them. But here I am.
The story is not over.
I like that. Thank you.
Well, guess I'm blessed.
It's right about now as the evening is closing that probably landing somewhere near Tahirli is Bella slightly off kilter as she's like, I tried some of these drinks and they tasted like apples, but I don't know why I just want to be really friendly with everybody. I only had a few of them. I normally take juices and nectars made from apples really well. I don't know why it's hitting me so hard.
Does she have a cup in her hand like right now?
Yeah.
Just gonna gently, very gently, just take that from her and hand her a water.
It's just like, I, you seem really surly, but also trying your best to help people. I think that's really great. I wasn't able to help anybody. I'm kind of just here by accident.
You're here for a
Um,
purpose. We all are. You just have to find yours.
I hope so. And she just sort of starts leaning against you, and we're talking like full, like mouth lolling open, starting to go on you. She cannot handle her liquor for shit.
I position her like I tilt her head um up kind of so she's like positioned better on my shoulder. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, well,
This is my life now.
I guess we really aren't leaving tonight. All right. And so I'm like, I've got this. I'm gonna apple booze in my hand. Like, and like the next person who comes around who's not a child, I'm gonna just hand that off. It's like, enjoy, and just
Like,
keep.
sweet. I haven't had this type in a while. Just downs the whole thing and just keeps walking. Just doesn't affect them at all. And then you see at least a few steps later, they're like, "Whoa."
People here be wildin'.
We all have different reactions to big stress. Some of us find peace and calm and tranquility. Some of us get fucked up.
Yeah. I'm holding on to like my silver chalice of monster detection and just kind of scanning, keeping like a watchful eye on the crowd. Just noting how the thieves are interacting with everyone and just catching the vibe of this city because it is different from my hometown and it's not as harsh as Belinay.
Yeah, it's again, it's a lot of different people. It's a lot of different folks, people socializing, folks falling, kind of getting lost amongst some of the archways, and especially with the introduction of alcohol in the evening, there are some people like taking a left at the wrong spot, and people having to like pull them back towards the center. But folks seem good here. It's a little bit more raucous than maybe some other spots you've been to, but folks seem content. This seems like one of the ways people are coping is just stay warm, get what we need from some folks. You do a favor, we give you a favor in return.
Hmm.
And the night proceeds without really any incident. None of you have to spend ink here. This is an outpost that has been already had ink put up to protect you. But the next day arrives, there's some food that's offered, very much the same as the previous day, and you are able, whenever you are ready, to set out on your next day of journeying.
Furiska will actually rise early and find the people who are in charge of guarding the outposts and like passageways in and out, and help them set up some additional lanterns and things to like make sure people see where they're going.
Yeah, you would find a average height, ginger-haired individual who seems to have just very long nails and heterochromatic eyes, who would give the name Moira, and they would say, "Thank you for your help."
Hope to see you again.
Well, should you ever find your way back to Portunus, we would be happy to help you when we can.
Until next time or next life.
I'm sorry.
Walk
This
away.
is I'm sorry. Like calls back to you. Have you have you been here before? I swear you look very familiar.
Oh, I could have sworn this whole place looks very familiar to me as well, but stronger than usual. Even though I feel like that in many places.
Perhaps I'm just thinking of someone else, but the two of you did look remarkably similar. Your hair was a bit different, though. It
Who?
had it had some, if I recall, some rather pleasant yellow flowers in it.
Oh. Who was that person that you think of?
Uncertain. I never bothered to give a name, and I never bothered to ask. Most folks just leave us up here to keep them safe.
Well, if you remember it, perhaps you could tell me more about her next time I pass by.
Be happy to. Fare thee well, Lantern Keeper.
Pretty well. She's gonna walk away, try to find some yellow flowers.
Whenever you look around, there's no yellow flowers or anything of that variety that they described anywhere in this. So it's a very notable detail that like that kind of specific yellow flower is there. But is the group ready to journey on for their next day?
I think so.
I've
Yeah.
been ready. Like the sun rises and I'm at the gate, like with my bag.
Do
And I'm
the
like-
full vampire thing of just rising from your crypt in the morning.
No, I go straight vertical, like not rising from a crypt, but it looks like I rise from like just this pit in the ground that's just all black and it's just rising. And I'm like, there you go.
The game got patched to fix that glitch because in prior patches it looked like Tahirli just transitioned from horizontal to vertical. We patched it out so you can see the transition now. But you begin journeying, and this one today of all days is probably one of the worst ones you've seen so far. There is now rain beginning to kick in. And amidst even with all of your clothing, it definitely feels like the cold is piercing down through the bones. And given that your clothing is getting wet, you will probably need to find somewhere to camp up soon and start dry out your clothes. Otherwise, the night is going to be very bad for your health, and you're going to risk at least a couple of different things. But as you are reaching that point where the rain it's letting up, where your clothes are very clearly wet, you see a bit of ways. It's strange. It looks as though from a distance it's a mess of towers that seem to have various kinds of bridges connecting them at different places. But as you get closer, you realize that these aren't just towers, these are trees that are quite ancient and gnarled. And the passageway, the actual towers are more akin to like tree houses. And this place, it's quite big. It is not quite the size of one of the four main settlements, but it's definitely something that could host quite a lot of people. And
Is there anyone here?
currently there's nobody here.
Mm.
You do see at various points some of the trees branches have been twisted almost to form like wreaths or like little archways at various points. It almost looks like there's little clearing spaces near some of the tree houses that have been set aside, akin to what like things like at a marriage ceremony would be happening,
Mm-hmm.
or like a ritual to celebrate bonding.
Well, that's just get us place in and get out of this rain. I don't know about you all, but I am soaked.
I will say, you gave me like fur shoes, right?
Yeah, gopher. They're kind of they're leathery, like hide. You know.
Okay.
I don't know if gophers are waterproof. I don't know. I'm gonna Google
I'll,
gopher.
hang on, give me a second. Are gophers waterproof?
Waterproof.
I should have said beaver. I should have said beaver.
Gophers are not waterproof.
So we're going beaver.
I'm gonna think that you actually gave me beaver, but Taj
Phrasing.
thought it was. You're welcome. But Taj thought it was a gopher, and I'm like, this is a big ass gopher. There, fixed it.
Fixed it, they say.
So yeah, Tahirli, because it looks like they're furry kind of boots that I've been wearing on my arms. I'm gonna tuck them into my cloak situation to keep them dry. But now I'm also very cold. So when you're like, yeah, I'm gonna stay here, I run to the nearest house. Like run to the nearest house and like, bet, say less. I'm here.
You if you're running towards directly to the tree houses, it looks as though there are almost like bits of stairs that have been carved into the tree to find a way to go up into some of the higher levels. And again, like if you take a look into any of the actual tree houses themselves, you see there's tables that have long faded or started to have mildew and rot kick in from just all the rain recently. It looks like there's the very faint tattered remains of like veils that people may have worn at during weddings. It looks as though there's a few different journals and books that Some of them are basically waterlogged at this point, but some of them are out of the way of the rain. And there's definitely at least a few different spots that if you took a look around, you might be able to find something, depending on what's your interest.
I shake off my cloak and grab some of the waterlogged paper. Like, I'm just grabbing papers at this point and kind of bundling them up together in a dry spot and trying to set them on fire because I am cold. Yes, I said fire in a treehouse. No, I do not care. I am cold.
I'm gonna roll a chance die for this.
Let's go.
On a success, nothing else catches fire. On a failure, you do start to set a fire in the center of a treehouse.
Okay, fair.
That's a 1.
I don't remember if that's a success or failure.
That's not a success. You needed a
Well,
6 or
bet.
above for a success.
Oh, damn.
So, is anybody with you at this moment?
I don't believe so. I ran ahead. So as I start seeing the fire spread on the dry spot of the thing, I'm going to like wring out my like wring out all of my clothing to try and contain it by like wetting the area so it doesn't keep growing. I'm trying to like soak the wood with what I've got.
I will also say, watching Tahirli run headfirst into where it looks like everything is made of wood, and knowing our experience, Furixa is running after them immediately as well, for sure. So if there is like, there might be some time discrepancies because Tahirli is clearly faster, but
Yeah.
like she's gonna be right behind, and if there is fire spreading, if you will let us like help.
I want to I want to fix it before they have a chance to help. I'm going to try and fix it before they have a chance to help.
In that case, this is going to come down to dexterity on Tahirli's part. So, Tahirli, yeah, I'm aware that this is the thing you're good at. This is a difficulty 6, bud.
Okay.
You need 6 successes to do this because you tried to start a fire in a fucking treehouse.
I'm rolling a D10, correct?
It's D10s. A number of D10s equal to your dexterity score. Not your points, your score.
All right. So my dexterity score is a 6.
So you need successes on all of these.
That's cool. Let me roll.
I want this to be a success just to see what happens.
Okay, cool. So I got 2 10s, 2 9s, 1 8, and 1 6.
Wow.
It works. No, it works. Casper is so happy with this.
So happy.
Wow.
I'm like, all right, I can give you tall order. Tall order fulfilled. You did it. So you do see. I will say the only thing Furixa happens to stumble upon, because I know, because to my knowledge, Taj is just taking their time seeing all of this. Tahirli, you get everything wrung out in time, and what Furixa does happen to see when you come by is sees a ring falling out of some of the papers.
Have you found a dry spot?
Yes, I made fire.
Right.
Yeah. So like everyone can, and it's contained, it's not going to spread. So I get we're in a treehouse, so it's like I was smart about it.
Good. Do you know if I don't want to be trespassing, I'm just trying to see who is around here. She's just gonna try to go around all of these trees and see if there are any signs of people population.
Roll me will. Furixa says, just tell me how many successes you get. I'm not going to set a difficulty for this. I'm just going to have it be based off of how many successes do you get. Meanwhile, Taj, while Ran is doing that, I will say, as you you are probably the more seasoned person of the group, and because of that, I will say there is a luxury you are afforded, which is you have the luxury of time and knowledge. You have heard stories about attempts outside of the four main settlements of a place called Thistlehaven. It was nicknamed the site of matrimony and fertility because a lot of people, when they didn't want to go through the trouble of going to a main settlement to get married, would run off and try and use Thistlehaven as a place to get married. Now, sometimes it would be just a couple of like young folks who would want to go and just get away from the life they had in main settlements. But sometimes you would end up getting folks who would bring a whole group together because they all loved each other, or they just wanted to make community with each other. So you would know that this place at one point in time was was talked about as one of the few places people have ever tried out of the main settlements to make something much more long-term. Felix, that was you. 6 successes. Damn.
Dice out here telling stories.
I will say, as you are wandering around Firhixa, you see a lot of journals. You see a lot of different books in various like tree houses you poke into. You see what look like plates left on tables, like people's meals were interrupted, veils were cast aside. You see a lot of the remains of what must have been life here. But you also happen to find there's one book that you happen to find and take a look inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to post this in y'all's Discord channel because for Hexa, because you rolled so well, you have found a tome.
Ooh.
And that tome has the following spells in it. It has Fire, Hide, Fall, Ritual, and Gambler.
Ooh.
So there are a lot of different things you find throughout here.
Nice.
So that will, if you take it, take up a whole nother slot in your inventory. Be mindful.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to think that if you would like to trade out any spells and such that you have already learned for anything in here, you could also do that as well and just pick up what you want to take with you.
Gotcha.
But I will say to Hearly, do you pick up the ring? Because you obviously noticed the ring dropping out of.
Yeah, I would have heard the ting ting as it like clambered on the ground. So I'd be like, what the heck? Yeah, sure, I'll pick it up. What's it?
When you look at it, it looks as though it. Did you say Nandi?
Yes.
Damn it. So you pick it up, and it looks as though it's just like a very old-fashioned engagement ring at first. Like the center of it has like what appears to be a red jewel. Like it's just a little like orb, like a singular jewel in it. But when you look closer, you see it is actually something very viscous and deep red, and you realize it is blood.
Ooh.
It is a ring with blood enclosed inside it. You have a blood ring.
Just casually.
If you
Sure.
press your palm to a dead creature, a ghostly after image plays out their last moments.
Nice.
Hang on, I gotta write that down because I will forget. I got it.
So, Fear Hexa, you see a lot of the remains of different things, and I'd say Taj, you've at this point now been able to join up with everybody, and you're seeing, again, there's bridges that connect these different tree houses. It looked like it had some height away from the ground so people could watch out for different things. And again, it's quite strange, really, that despite all of these defenses and what looked to be a fairly secure community, this place fell.
This looks
And
to be a place of love as well. I can tell.
I've heard of this place. It's a place where lovers would come to rebuild, to find something different than the traditional settlements.
It makes sense. There is a poem inscribed in this book that I found. Listen. Now to be journeying I yearn, but yet the truth in part is one does but travel to return, for home is where one's heart is. And this old tree stands blossom tall. I'm nearly home, it's telling. That ancient tree, don't let it fall. You must not think of felling. And then after that, it just says, you are my home.
I can imagine how beautiful this place must have been before whatever happened.
Because this is a tree, and a bunch of lovers would have come to this tree house. Are there any carvings like on the walls, like initials or stuff? And are
yeah,
there?
I hadn't thought of that as a motif. That is a very lovely and cute motif. There is an entire tree in the center that is like a central point where you could see various like little hearts. And sometimes you'll see like a pair of initials. Sometimes you'll see like a trio. Sometimes you'll see what people would call like a family unit of initials being put together. Some folks will just put a heart and they'll put a family name on there. But it was very clear this place was filled with a lot of different kinds of families and people and folks who just loved each other.
Okay. What is the newest like carving? Like how old is the newest carving on here?
It looks as though it was only a few years back. It looks as though probably someone stopped by here in recent times. Which,
Okay.
considering how often people migrate, it's on a seasonal basis. That's probably still relatively a short while ago.
Yeah, no, taking that into consideration. I was like, I put my hand on the tree, and then like look up at it to see how high the carvings go. Because I'm assuming this tree keeps growing, and like
Yep.
as people, so like there'd be faded carvings and everything like way up there. So like looking at this scarred and beautiful tree, and since Taj still has like holds memories of it, it is still remembered. And the carving is in too old. I take my hand back and go back to the fire and just sit. Hopefully my cloak's warm enough now.
Yeah, it's at least a few hours, and you'll probably have to stay here for the whole night at some point. But you would have time, and you would see that Bella has kind of been wandering around, and she has sort of a like there's a wistful, very like sad look at her because she sees the tree with all the initials, and there's almost a if a face could say this is what could have been for me, it says that. Like it's a lot for her to take in, and you see her kind of grow a little unsteady, but you see her like reach for something. Like it looks as though she's reaching for a necklace even though she doesn't have one, and you watch as just out of nowhere a small dagger appears in her hand, and she just starts like carving into the wood like her initials and two other pairs of initials that you presume must have been the people she was planning to be wed to.
And since it's still part of the present, then it is safe from the eradication of the past.
I will also say, Taj, you you would probably notice this first, but then Firhixa would notice this later. There seemed to be a little bit of ways. While there's very few of them now, it looks as though there's a small patch of yellow flowers that have a very odd quirk of if anyone has ever had the experience of being hit by a burr, like the little like spiky balls.
Oh,
Mhm.
those.
Yeah, those things. The plant has a unique feature in that like the very bottom of it near the roots has grows naturally off the piece holding up the whole flower a variety of spurs. These are a variant of thistles, hence why the place got the name Thistlehaven, likely from the flowers that grew here. And the very top of them bloom into very beautiful yellow buds, so they're sort of a yellow thistle variety.
Definitely going there.
Firhixa, the moment you do, you the best way I can describe this is if you've ever seen had movie scenes where someone's walking and then like suddenly the terrain and scenery has changed around them, like if you're imagining like it's in the past and there's little kids running by, the character is still an adult walking, but then they suddenly see children running by.
Hmm.
You start having that experience as you walk towards the flowers. Like you're looking around and you see this place flourishing, blooming, so many different people here. You look and you see a little girl who looks as though she's taken the buds and like wreathed them in a braid around her hair. And when she looks like she stops by the thistles and she accidentally has one of them touch her hand, and then someone else comes by into view. You can't see her face, but you hear a voice. It's a voice you've heard before, Firixa, a very gravelly voice, just sort of speaking to you. And you you see the young little girl saying, why do they put so many terrible things in this world? Why can't it just be pretty? And you see someone who it's definitely clear from the gray sort of and very salt and pepperish kind of hair she has that she's a bit
Hmm.
older. And she says, in this world there's more dark than light, but the light makes it worthwhile. You don't need to worry about the pain, dear. It fades over time. And you see, getting a proper look at the little girl, it looks remarkably like you, Firhixa. It's not you, but it does look like someone who looks like you.
And I think if this is what Firexa is seeing and experiencing, whoever might have chanced, by chance glanced towards her direction, what they would see is just Firexa looks like she's somewhere else, but by some sort of force of unknown origin, they will also see her reaching out, her hand grasping one of the flowers. Um, Maybe straight onto the spurs part, but there is no reaction from experiencing the pain, as she's sort of just experiencing something entirely different. And she's gonna pull one and start to kind of almost like weave it into her hair, I think.
Tahirli, Tahirli, you have a moment. Are you joining Firhixa over here near the flowers?
No.
Okay, never mind then. All right, I want to know where you were. I had to double check.
Well, I was by the fire. I will notice that Fear Hixa is playing with her hair. But that's that's what I see is Fear Hixa playing with her hair. And I see Bella like carving into the tree, and I don't know what Taj is doing, but I keep their beaver boots uh like by the fire, but not close enough to where
It'll
look
risk.
like safe distance from the fire. Like I've seen steel toe boots get melted by a fire pit before, so I'm just gonna be like,
Jesus.
my dad was a pyro, so I'm putting mine at safe distance from the tiny fire that I think is burning a hole in this room. It's fine. I'll worry about that later. But yeah, I'm just again kind of just watching everyone and like taking in everything just to get warm at this point because I'd be cold. I'm wearing
Yeah.
sleeveless coats in the middle of fall town. It's not the smartest outfit choice.
No, you made a choice. You chose an aesthetic, and you are suffering the consequences of that aesthetic.
Yep, but I will stick to it.
Much like a goth will burn in the summertime, you will freeze in the winter. Or the aesthetic. Taj, what are you up to right now? If your Hixa is having this moment with the flowers, what are you doing?
How big is the fire?
Big enough.
There you go. That's your answer.
I think Taj is probably gonna strip down to just like undies so we can dry everything off and try and find some everything's made of wood here. So just starts breaking things to add to the fire to keep the fire going. And also I think maybe they're just gonna whispering to themselves like, after all this is done, I can come back and I can set up a resort and all the queers can come here and just hang out and play with the flowers and live in a tree house, and it'll be so great and fun. And we can just start a new community here. Like, this place has endless possibilities.
It's right around as you're breaking through some different pieces from like branches and such that are falling off of the dead. There is at one point you hear the sound of something slightly caving in, and you see more in the deep, like actual trunk of a tree. You see a body a lot fresher than you would think for a place like this. That's just sort of hanging. That's just not hanging there. It's just sort of there, hanging out of the trunk. Its entire form looks as though it's been speared in various places or just gouged.
I reach for my sword and step forward towards it very cautiously.
As you step forward, Tahirli's gonna grab their bow, but also be like, you're naked, right? And like basically have your back. I'm covering you from a nice safe distance, similar to the distancing on the lake.
Gotcha. The only other thing you notice of significance on the body, Taj, outside of the weird, like, looking like it's been gouged at various places, is that right across the chest, you see the insignia that you saw at the chapel once again. The inverted caduceus staff with a sort of snowflake motif to it.
I'm gonna try and get everyone around. Everyone, come take a look at this. I'm not quite sure how to wrap my head around what's happening.
Is it still raining?
No. It
Oh.
is stopped. It stopped raining when you reached the settlement, and you have now had some time to like warm up and start drying your clothes. They're not fully dry yet, but
Gotcha.
you're still able to come and take a look without any
I
pressing danger.
I think Firixa is still just soaking wet, but she's not here. She's like just experiencing sunshine and a flower-covered field with this person telling her about the beauty of the universe. And like putting flower in her hair. So,
Somebody's got to bring her out of her daydream, right?
Yeah. No problem. Hi, I'm someone. So I will stay at my position, and I will look over to Furixa, who is still just playing with her hair. In my world, it's just like she's just playing with her hair. It's like, hello, hey,
oh,
Necro Barbie, are you with us?
yes.
Yeah, Taj is looking for some help.
Oh, I'm here.
Are
What's
you?
up? I think
are
I was someone else. I was somewhere before here. Someone I knew.
That sounds amazing. We can get into that later. Can you? And she like Tahirli's like not nodding with like I'm not lowering this bow. That is a body over there. It's like,
Oh,
go check that out.
of course. I will approach to the direction that Hurley is sort of gesturing.
It's a witching hat.
You again, you see the body that has been likely skewered or had what appears to be multiple spiny things pressed into it at various parts of its body.
At in Arcadia Echo, even in such a beautiful place, violence still remains.
You all recognize this symbol, don't you?
Perhaps it's unfortunate, but I do. Is that the same symbol?
It's the same one
Yeah.
you saw at the chapel.
Is it inverted on the body or
It's
is
inverted on the body as well,
it
just like
okay?
it was in the chapel.
Is the body okay? So is the body hanging out of the thing?
It's like
Oh, okay, cool. Because I was thinking the body was like, ugh.
no,
Okay,
not
cool.
not forward. It's just like on its slide. I'm trying not to go into details to avoid the tryptophobia thing. Hence why I'm
Bet.
using speared all over the place and spiny
Yeah.
stuff.
Cool. Because I wasn't even thinking about that, and so yeah, we're good.
Yeah, that's why
Thank
I'm
you so
being
much.
careful. You're
I
welcome.
appreciate you. I was just talking about the position of the body as
Yeah,
if it,
the body is just almost it's like fallen out partially, but you can still see the chest. Like you can see the
Got
insignia on
it.
the chest of it hanging out.
I thought it was coming out of the ceiling, hanging
No.
that
You
way.
can't
So got
make
it.
anybody come out. You have to give them their own time and place to do that when they're ready for it.
That is true.
Some,
And that's why we have the resort.
someone trying to send a message everywhere. That's the vision I saw. I saw something else at the ink. Someone placed this into the ice and called the creatures out and awakened them. It is the same symbol everywhere.
Can I look around? Because if your Hicks is saying like they use this symbol to call creatures, can I look around to see if anything is coming?
I would say, as a reminder, you have had time to dry off and put your armor and stuff back on, so you have that. I'm bringing this up for very important reasons. As you turn to look over towards the tree, Tahirli, you see Bella is just like resting her head against it, and like seems just kind of lost in the daze. But you start seeing parts of the tree begin to move. And you watch as you hear audible as like sections are breaking off and forming what looks to be a massive humanoid shape, but where a head would be, there are 3 long, almost like tendrils composed entirely of wood and thistles. Think akin to a thistle-headed hydra-like form. That Bella is still like, she's just lost in the reverie of like thinking about this, and the thing is starting to move close to her. And it's right at that moment as well that I would say to Hearly, you're looking back and you're able to see that, and you see right near the bottom where so many of the initials were, you suddenly see a brand appear that is outlined exactly the same way as the brand you saw on the body. And Firhixa and Taj, as you are looking around at the body that's by the tree, the body just sort of goes,
Oh. Don't like that.
and in like a very unnerving sort of like tone, like this weird gravelly reverberating voice, you hear it ask, "Are we getting married today?" And you see a brand appear on its body, and then the entire form, you watch as those yellow flowers that were near the patch over there are just pulled over to its form, and various spiny thistles start covering it like armor. And that is where we're going to take our break, everybody. Because that seems like an appropriate spot to take a break. So thank you, everybody, for who's been tuning in so far. We will be back in about 10 minutes as our party is going to deal with some thistle creatures. And find out a little bit more about what the fuck is going on. So we will see you all in about 10 to 15 minutes. Check back in soon, and we'll see you real shortly. Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the second half of episode 3, Bonds Lay Broken, here on Girls Run These Worlds for the Belinay the Deathless Lake Printweaver series we're having here. It has been a fairly easygoing time for the group for the first half of the session. So now we have to introduce, difficulties and a lot of other stuff that could potentially maim and harm them and kill them and, all that kind of stuff. So our group, picking up immediately where they left off, is in the middle of what appears to be a fallen attempt at a full settlement known as Thistlehaven. Firhixa has experienced a memory of long ago. Tahirli has attempted to start a fire in an actual treehouse. And Taj is thinking about renovation plans already. Because queers plan ahead, because we have to. And in the midst of all of this and finding a body that was inscribed with an insignia that the group had encountered once before, the group has now watched as two different creatures have become animated from the thistles and the nearby massive wooden tree, one forming a thistle tendril-headed hydra-like creature and the other one forming a humanoid body. You did light a fire in a treehouse. You are truly the brightest of all of us and truly the wisest among all of us as well to do so. And the group is now in the midst of sort of being on each side of them. So here is how I'm going to place you all. You are all close to each set of creatures, to each creature. Now, what that means is that if you take a move, you will be, depending on which direction you go, you will either be close to one and distant from the other. You will be close to one and distant from the other is basically what it translates out to as. So bear in mind, if you are someone who needs to fight from ranged or someone who needs to fight up close, you're going to be trading off what's happening. And you're putting yourself at risk regardless. It's just a matter of how you want to do it. So with that being said, I need an initiative roll from everyone, which is dexterity. So however many successes you can get on this versus what the creatures are able to roll.
Well, shucks. That's not super great.
Well, my dexterity is 0, but I rolled a 1 for my 1 die.
You rolled a 1 on your 1 die.
Mm-hmm.
2 9s, 2 successes.
Yeah, on my 6 die, I got a 9 and a 6. The other 2 are, we don't want to talk about them. The other 4, I mean.
Okay, so how many successes total for everyone? So Firhixa, how many successes did you get?
2.
2. Tahirli, you got 2. Taj got 0. You are very lucky they rolled 3 successes. So your group is going first.
Take it.
So who's doing what first?
Oh, yeah, no, as soon as I see creepy thing coming near Bella, I'm going to take the lead on that one. I'm gonna swing the tip of my arrow over the fire until it catches fire, and then I'm gonna shoot it at the creature and like move back after I do that, and then shoot it at the creature by Bella.
Okay. You are going to be putting yourself closer to the thistle humanoid as opposed to the thistle hydra-like creature.
Yeah,
but that's kind of what you got to do. That's what you got to do. So do that.
Oh, yes.
Let's see if you can hit. So your roll. So yours was a medium crossbow. You said
yes, it is. Well, it's a medium. Wait, hang on. I have the thing, but it is a heavy range weapon.
Heavy range. Yes. So it is. So
plus
it is
3, right?
Yes, it's plus 3.
I wrote it down.
Yes.
Trying to help out.
Yeah, you're good. So plus 3.
So
son of a monkey.
Yeah, these dice are mad at me. I got
how many successes?
I got 3 successes. Y'all rude ass. I hate you.
That is exactly what the creature has as its OB, which means it will get a counterattack on you if it can reach you. So let's see. Let me double check. What I put down is this creature's ability to attack. That is medium ranged. It can hit you from this distance. So it is going to try and attack you. You watch as one of the tendrils just sort of like flails around and tries to fire off an entire spray of like little thistle burr spikes at you.
Fun. Love that.
So it is going to roll its 8 dexterity dice.
Bitch.
Oh, wait, actually, I'm sorry. That it's probably going to be more than that. Because this is 8 dex plus medium, so that's 2. So that's 10 dexterity dice. Thank you very much.
Oh my god.
Bitch.
It is a fucking thistle hydra. It's big. Didn't roll the best, but
Yeah, the curse of the dice strike. Let's go.
3, 4, 5. Oh wait, no, that's better than I thought. Okay, that's that. 6. So, what is your armor, Tahirli?
Unstoppable. No, my armor is
Medium,
leather.
light, heavy.
Yeah, it's medium armor.
It's medium armor, so that's OB4. So it rolled 6 successes, so you're going to take 4 points of damage as the two of you watch as Tahirli just gets sprayed by a variety of different thistle spikes all over their body.
That comes out of my...
That comes out of your strength points first, and then it'll start hitting your vitality.
Okay, so you said 4?
4, because it did 4 over your OB.
Cool.
Because damage is always relative to what they land over your armor.
Okie dokie.
It's also why Taj can tank quite a lot, because Taj has a lot of strength points and vitality, I think.
But
you also don't have great armor. Yeah,
armor.
So it is also easy to hit you is the problem.
Yeah.
We need to get you better armor.
I'm also naked right now, pretty much. My undies.
Still have armor. But so that is Tahirli's turn. Who's going next?
Is Bella being captured by the...
Bella is not being captured. Bella is just... Bella is engaged with this creature, which, to be fair, is fitting for this place, but still. She's currently in like hand-to-hand combat with this thing.
With the smaller one.
No, you two, you and Ferhixa, basically think of it as to your left. If you move, you'll be in melee range with the smaller one. If you move right, you're getting closer to the Hydra.
Okay.
I'm farther away from the big one, right? And
yes, if you move back, you'll have to be, if you want to do something ranged, Ferhixa, then that would mean you would need to get closer to the humanoid one, to the smaller one, but you would be distant from the Hydra creature.
Okay,
because
I was assuming I'm closer to the humanoid ones because it was the body. How large would you say the Hydra creature is?
It's pretty big. It's you think like a chunk of an old ancient tree is just animated and now has tendrils of thistles.
Well,
try saying that 5 times fast.
Tahirli, perhaps I'm just going to take a book out of your page and let the air ignite, let a shadow burns bright even in the depth of night, waiting for a spring, waiting to awake. And I'm going to cast Fireball.
Essentially, there is a fire spell in this game, and oh boy.
Yeah. So you create a flaming sphere, something meters wide, that drops from the sky, exploding, and on contact, affected creature must succeed on a dex check or suffer something success.
Yep.
I didn't say how big. I didn't ask how big the room was. I said I cast Fireball.
I guess I'm gonna spend 2 wills. To cast it, and
I'm gonna give it a disadvantage because it's fire
Yeah.
on these rolls.
So it means I roll 3.
Yes, you always it always rolls. You always roll however many points you spend plus 1.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna use 3 points. Why not? No.
Okay, so that would be 4 dice you're rolling.
Yes. Hold on.
1. Oh lordy, it did not roll well. 8. No, it did not. It did not roll well enough. It's going to take all of that. So however much success you roll, it's taking it. I'm going to say
Guys,
it.
all 4.
Oh, that is 4 fire damage just drops down onto it. Fire or there's exhaustion. Oh dear, that is not good. I'm gonna say while your spell does not have this, because it is specifically wooden creature, I will force it to. Oh no, wait, that's on a critical hit. Never mind. You didn't get a crit because on a
Got
critical
it.
hit, it'll suffer a
Right.
additional debuff, but
I got 110. I imagine that's not enough to get critical.
not quite. This creature is it's got heavy armor to get through that. So it'll take a bit to get through that, but it will take the damage. It has taken a chunk of that damage as a fire sphere just drops onto its body.
Yeah.
It's
It
just
starts
going...
It starts with a drop of ink and then just ignite in the air and then just bursts out and land on this thistle, and then she's gonna turn and shout towards Bella. Bella, get away from the thing.
And Bella is just like, oh crap. And you just see her, she's pulled out a small short sword, and you watch as out of nowhere a dagger appears in her other hand. So she is she's in a predicament. She will get to that in a second. Taj, what are you doing? Which one are you going for? Or what are you doing?
I've never done a magic before with my scrolls.
Oh god.
What is there any?
Love how that starts.
Yeah.
So
I've never done a magic
whatever
before.
you're doing with the scroll, whenever you cast, you always have to spend a will point to activate it.
Okay.
And then if it has an associated roll, it's whatever amount of points and will you spent plus 1. And that's what you roll for your thing.
Okay, I'm gonna Kage Bunshin real quick. I have a duplicate tome, and I create an illusory clone of myself. I'm gonna roll some dice, and it lasts the number of successes minutes. So I need to spend. You said it costs 1, or as many wills I want, essentially, right?
Will points, not will stat. So
Right.
yes. So you spend however much will you're going to do. You'll roll that many dice, and then however many successes you get on it, that's how long the duplicate will last.
Okay,
That's
I'm
how
gonna
many
roll
minutes.
3 dice.
Okay, so you've spent 2. You roll a 3. Roll that up. Tell me how many you get, and then tell me how the hell a duplicate just comes out of nowhere.
Oh, where I'm keeping the scroll. Yeah. I have a 10 and a 6.
That's 2 successes. So you have 2 minutes of a duplicate being with you to copy your actions as you see fit. It has no physical presence, but I would say if you allow it to aid you in some way, you could. I would allow you a roll to let it distract and try and impose a disadvantage on the creature attacking you, or an advantage for you to attack.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Kind of a distraction. And also, Taj takes a look at the clone of herself. Just an energy. Yeah, I still got it. Still got it.
Still got it. I love that. Meanwhile, Bella is going to try and do what she can up close and personal with this thing, which is essentially she has a medium short sword and a light dagger. So she is going to make 2 attacks. So she is going to double wield to try and hit this Hydra, but both of her attacks have disadvantage. That's sort of the way that this system balances out doing dual wielding. which is honestly kind of cool. It's like, I can hit you twice, but I have a problem with trying to do it. So let's see. She is statted. I started her last night. She's 4 on there. 4 on that. 4 on that. +1, and then +2. Okay. So Bella is going to try and follow up the fucking fireball from our mage friend over there. So that is so far 2 successes on 1. So she isn't able to hit with the She isn't able to hit with the dagger. She's going to try and hit with the short sword now. That is 1, 2. No. No luck. She's trying to swing at it wildly, but she's still a bit like frazzled by just this thing she was just happily trying to carve a new memory and is now trying to kill her. So now the creature is going to, the humanoid one is going to try and move up closer. Actually, no, Tahirli is right there because Tahirli backed up into it. So it's going to try and attack Tahirli. Tahirli, that's the correct response. So you watch as this creature's whole body just sort of forms a long barbed spike, and it is going to try and like jab you directly in the stomach with it. Which
miss.
Which, you know, that sucks. So that is going to be strength plus 2d10 because there's a medium weapon. I should have listened to my girlfriend when she told me I need more d10s. Which is always a thing you want. You cheat and just say, okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. That's 2 successes, and that is only 2 successes to hit you. Which I think your armor is only 1, so thankfully it does manage to avoid trying to hit you. It isn't able to hit you very critically, so it's only 1 point of damage, but I do need you to make a check for me.
Okay.
So against this thing's difficulty, which is 2, or no, which is 1, I need you to roll a strength check.
Oh, because I have so much of that.
I know.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. Ha! Ha ha ha! Ha 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 ha! Yeah, I got a 9, a 7, and a 6.
That is enough. You feel as this creature's spike, while it doesn't deal severe damage to you, you feel this noxious toxin trying to enter your body, and you're just like, and just sort of like push it out before it gets too deep and it enters your bloodstream too much. So you do realize this thing is a very poisonous threat.
Cool. I want to let Taj know. Hey, big thing poison. Yeah, I just announced that. Big thing poison. As I knock another arrow.
Yeah, take note. Tahirli is saying this about the humanoid, not the Hydra that is about to now attack you. That was just the human one. This is the Hydra.
Oh.
Speaking of the creature, I will say the creature does try and move back so it can be at distant range to try and counterattack Fear Hixa, but that is going to give it an attack of opportunity for Bella to try and do it. And this time she's only going to use 1. But let's roll for the creature trying to attack Fear Hixa first. So that is medium range. So that is that plus that. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that is 5 successes. 1 of those is a crit. So that is, and your armor is 1. So that's 4 It is a crit, so it is double damage. So that is 8 damage as this creature lets out a barrage of thistles at you,
Okay.
Fear Hexa. And you feel again these like sharp burrs just digging into your skin through the armor. And it just hurts so badly. And the poison is like, it's making it a little hard to breathe. It has no additional effect, but it just, you feel it coursing throughout your body.
Right.
Bella is going to try and make her attack with the short sword. She does 3 to try and hit this thing's heavy armor. Unfortunately, that is not enough, and the creature is now going to try and counterattack her. This is a rough one for your new member. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is 5 to land on her. But thankfully, she has medium armor as well. So she will take 3 damage. Points and 12 bit. So she is starting to get hurt, but she's handling herself okay. It is now the party's turn again. What are you doing to try and deal with these things? Or actually, I don't know if... No, Taj did do the duplicate. I was worried that I'd skip Taj's turn.
No.
I kind of want to spread the fire all around more to make the environment work for me. Look, it's a plan. And I'm not the one. I'm not the one dropping fireballs in a tiny room. Okay,
It's magic fire. It doesn't spread.
Well, my fire will. I don't have magic fire. So I'm gonna do the same thing, but instead of aiming for the big like creature because it's got like armor and everything, can I aim for the area underneath it so its feet are on fire? Yeah, out of the box.
No.
Out of the box.
God damn it. No,
Yep.
I am a child again. You know what? Here's what I'll let you do. You can make the roll, use your usual weapon, but this one won't do damage. But if it succeeds, the creature will suffer exhaustion from being set on fire, which when it has exhausted, all of its checks will be at disadvantage.
Bet. Love that.
So,
I'll take it.
Yeah, but I will say instead of it has to both beat its armor and reach at least 4 successes, which you need to do any damage to it anyway. So what you're looking for is a success of 4 here.
Okay, well, I got 6, so...
that'll do it. That will fully do it. So you fire the arrow, and as this creature, the bottom of it just gets starts to get spread over its body, it is just freaking out, and all of the tendril heads just start like flailing, and your entire party just hears these creatures saying in half humanoid voices, "Honey, did we do something wrong?"
Okay.
So that's Tahirli's turn. They've set a tree on fire. Bury them. Next.
I want to... So I turn to Taj, who looks like I'm looking at double vision, right?
Yep.
And I would just say, This is going to be a tough fight. I believe it is worth fighting. And as we all bet on another day, I'm going to put my bet on you. I'm going to cast Gambler's Eyes, and time seems to slow down, allowing you to adjust your next check by on her, if that's allowed. I'm not sure how this works.
It does not say specifically that you have to target yourself. So I'm going to
Great.
treat it rules as written and rules as interesting. You could cast it on whomever you'd like. So however much you're spending on this,
Yeah.
this will last just the entire. I'm going to just say the entire fight because there's no duration listed for
Okay.
this. So however much you spend on this,
Yeah,
add
so
roll successes on that, and
Mm.
Taj can choose to you can choose to alter it however much by this amount of successes or failures. So you could impose
Oh,
this on the creature attacking you as well.
yeah. Great. I'm going to mute myself when I roll.
Alrighty. So yeah, the words echo out, and you both now not only have double vision, you have time is literally slowing down for Taj, and like you're watching as this like thistle creature very slowly is trying to reform the spike arm again, but like you have vision of Neo right now.
Right, yeah. Everything's bulletin.
Everything is bullet time right now. So that
I just so you're gonna have two. So I have two successes. You can switch by
results
two. Yeah.
2. So yeah,
So 2 successes or two fails.
2 failures you can invoke, and also your perception of time is faster, so your armor is treated as 1 higher as a
Yes,
result
that
of
part
that,
as well.
Okay.
which is
cool.
also very important for Taj right now. God, this is a really cool spell. I like this one.
Yeah.
I'm very happy about this one. Okay, so that is for Hicks's turn. So Taj or Bella, who would you like to go first?
I'll go. Taj will go. Taj is gonna run forward with a long sword, just kind of in all their glory. There's the muscles of their legs and back and arms, and they're gonna. I know I'd get Casper that one. Raise the sword over their head and swing at the arm that is trying to reform there before it can reform.
Okay. Do you want the duplicate to do anything before you take your strike?
That's a good question. Yeah, I wanted to run ahead of me, basically.
Try and distract it?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what I'll do. I'll have you roll. We'll do this as an opposed check. Your strength. So roll whatever your strength pool is against this creature's will to see if it can actually pick up on what you're doing fast enough to deal with it.
Okay, I got out of 5, I got 4 successes.
4 successes?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it can literally it cannot match that.
Ooh,
so
yeah.
you have advantage on this next strike.
Okay,
and you have the 2 successes to add on to that as well. So
I'm gonna roll 8.
Damn.
10. Okay. And I have advantage, you said?
Yes, you have advantage, which means
Advantage is
5 to 10 will count as a success now.
Okay.
So roll that shit.
3, 4, 5, 6 successes with 2 10s.
With 2 10s, and this creature, this is the one that had. This is the Thistle Wraith, which has light armor, which means you rolled a number of crits equal to its armor, so this damage will be doubled.
Dang.
So you had 5 over its armor, so that is going to be doubled to 10.
Oh shit!
At least if I'm double checking just to make sure. If you roll number of 10s equal to or higher than the OB, you inflict a critical hit. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
Kill it.
So that is 10 points of damage to this Thistle Wraith creature. I'm gonna say you nearly bisect this creature with this hit. Like everything, like as time slows, the creature tries to lash out its arm to stop the blade, and you just have it's just the cool like slowdown effect where you just like move out of the way and the big swing comes in. You cut off one of its arms, and the cut is nearly deep enough that it almost bisects it on the sides. it reforms its body enough, but it's barely holding on. Like
Okay. So it's still left.
It's still alive, but that
Mhm.
was a massive hit on that thing.
I always place the right bet.
When I can cheat time itself, I will always win. So now Bella is going to try and take an attack on the Thistle Hydra creature. She's not going for double hits. She's just going to go for one because she has a better chance to do this. So short sword for... Okay, drop that one. She's going to try and hit this thing. That's 1, 2... That's only 2 successes. She just cannot land a hit on this thing right now. She is struggling, like just trying to make any impact at all with her sword. And she's not getting anywhere with it. So right now, that's the whole party's turn. It is now the creature's turns. The thistle creature that's up and with Taj is going to try and make an attack with its arm. It's barely holding itself together. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's rolling its whole dice for this. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be 5 successes total. You're muted, dear.
I only have 2 OB, so
that would drop it. So that will be 3, and only one of those was a crit, so it's not was a 10, so it was not a crit. So it's 3 points of damage. Like it tries to hit you again, and I'm going to need a strength check from you. You need at least 2 successes, otherwise you're going to become poisoned.
yeah.
So it lashes out, and it's just there. And I will say for Taj, you just see like the faintest outline of someone who looks like the after image of someone in a groom's outfit, just staring at you like, why are you getting in the way of our big day? And it's just stabbing you in the gut as it does this.
Yeah, I got ruled up 3 successes for the poison.
You're fine. You avoid the poison as an issue. But it's now going to come to the thistle creature, which I'm going to roll to see whether it's going to aim at Tahirli, who just set it on fire, or the lantern keeper, who also tried to explode it.
Who set it on fire? You
The set it on fire wins.
Oh, damn it.
Listen. It does have disadvantage on this because it is on fire, though.
Yeah, stay disadvantaged.
It's like I'm gonna talk big at you, even though I only have 1 armor. Actually, that's helping you a fair bit because it would have had more successes if it had gotten that. So that's 1, 2, 4, 7. That is that's 7 successes, even with the disadvantage. And there were several 10s in that, bud.
Cool. What does that mean?
So that means it's a crit. As this thing lets out a thistle burst, you are going to take 12 points of damage.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah. This system doesn't fuck around. When people get hurt, people get hurt.
Oh,
So,
yeah, no. Yeah.
Do just unrelated question. If I run out of vitality, not saying that I did, but if I do, what happens to me?
That means you start falling into a critical condition. If someone doesn't immediately take an action to stabilize you, you die immediately.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I had to experience death as a player last time I played this system because someone didn't want to come and make sure I was okay because she didn't know how to do that. So yeah,
Fun.
the thigh dress. God damn it! My friend Abhishek is in our chat and has deemed this creature thigh dress. So enjoy that. This bless you, Abhishek. So that is both of the creatures' turns. It comes back to the party. You know, one of these creatures is very close to dying, and the other one is hurt but still moving. It's still got a lot of energy in it.
I want
Cool.
to do my thing first, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Looking at Tuhili going a little bit wobbly from that strike, she's gonna say, "Breathe, take another breath. I know your name. I know your soul in this fragile hour, and I shall call on life's enduring power. No end tonight, no final call." And I'm going to cast Revival on you, Reborn, whatever. What is it
Reborn,
called?
yeah. I believe it's Reborn, which is a very critical spell, especially for this. I will take the moment to read this. So you mark a creature as chosen by Providence. Depending on how many successes Ran rolls, that is how many rounds you cannot die for.
I am God. Okay.
It's like, I am invincible.
Yeah.
Ran rolls a 2.
Oh dear, you forgot to mute, dear.
Oh, sorry.
You're good. You're good. The Hydrus. God damn it, Abhishek, stop with these names. But actually, don't. We need these for a shirt. Just make like a cute little chibi Hydrus little creature right there on a shirt. So, Rand, how many successes?
You cannot die for 3 rounds.
Damn. There you go. There you go.
I will live forever. Right. So as I'm starting to feel like, I'm gonna call it like very akin to a sugar high right now, as it like this magic like rushes through my through my bones, so it's just like, yes. I'm going to shoot another flaming arrow,
Okay.
but instead of being under the thing, I want to shoot above it, so it's kind of like caught in like a wall of flaming debris.
Okay.
I don't know if disadvantage stacks, but if it does,
it does not. It you know what? Roll, buddy. Let's see what happens. Let's I'll tell you what happens depending on how well you roll. Let's do this, bud. Casper over there just like, I'm gonna
Digital
cause
dice.
havoc. I'm gonna cause havoc.
Okay.
This is why my rolls are so loud, guys. Sorry about that.
So I got 3 6s and 3 7s, and I hope that's a good sign.
Okay, 3 6s, 3 7s. The creature has an armor. I believe I gave it it ended up with heavy armor. Yeah, because of its Hydra body, it has heavy armor. So that is going to be with the heavy armor. So that is 3 over. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to roll a chance die now, which is just a D10. If this is a success, you will have something positive happen. If this is a failure, something else will happen.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. The fire begins to spread on this creature, and you watch as it's flailing around, especially all of its tendrilled heads. It's going to take first the few points of damage that land through. So that is going to hurt it first. As it is thrashing around, Tahirli, I'm going to give you a choice. Do you want it to cause destruction to Thistlehaven, or do you want Bella to get hurt?
Oh yeah, no, destroy Thistlehaven.
Bella can be revived. She can just pop back. Okay, sorry, go on.
You can rebuild Thistlehaven.
As its heads begin thrashing around, one of the wooden bridges that are acting as a connection point between some of the tree houses begins being set on fire.
Oh no, Taj's resort.
You don't know how quickly this is going to spread, but you know if this is not addressed soon, it is going to be a problem. Like, soon. So that is Tahirli's turn. You did damage, and you have caused a new fire hazard to appear in the area. So that's 2 people's turns.
On brand.
Yep.
So, Taj, do you want to go or do you want Bella to go?
I'll go. I'm gonna try and finish off this humanoid
Thistle creature. Yep.
Yeah.
Swing that sword. Swing the sword, buddy.
Whatever my dice rolling. Not there. Oh God, that's horrible. As an advantage. Well, that's 2 successes then, out of 8.
But you still have the gambler eyes to add to that as well.
Well, then there'll be 4 successes then.
So that would be 4 successes.
Yeah.
And the thistle creature, I can reveal it now. This is called a thistle wraith. This had only light armor. So you swing, and this thing is just slashed and bisected entirely.
I'm moving at like fast speeds, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna swing, bisect it, and I'm gonna turn around and sheathe my sword. And at the time the sheath goes in, tink, it like falls in half.
Yes. Look, it's a cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason. It's fucking awesome. I don't care how much the word weeb will immediately be used in response to it. It's still fucking awesome to me. Especially if you have a person who like has the whole sheath and he just
It's the only piece of clothing I'm pretty much wearing is the sheath.
Yeah. But I forgot. Yeah. Taj is just basically near buck ass naked out there dealing with this thing. That creature is entirely defeated. And it is now down to the one Thistle Hydra creature that is flailing around and is desperately trying to get away from all of this. It just does not want to deal with any of you. 2, 3, 4. Yeah. That is 4 successes against the heavy armor, of which that was enough D10s to count as a crit. So Bella just leans into it and just right where actually one of those is better because of Tahirli's fire exhaustion thing. Yeah. So the blade, like she just sticks it in right near the base of where the creature's body is. And you watch as the creature just like flails around with all of its heads just snapping everywhere and trying to let out thistles. And then it just starts. If anyone's ever seen fungi start to like calcify, the entire tree just starts having that kind of effect and breaks apart into, it just shatters into pieces. And the only solid chunk that remains is the section that Bella had just inscribed initials onto.
Picks up the sleeping roll that's still soaking wet and start to like slam on the fire.
Yeah. You managed to put it out. I would say that bridge is going to need repair. At least that one or two bridges that were starting to catch fire is going to need some repair soon. But for now, the group has managed to deal with the current threat.
Someone is trying to corrupt. I don't know what. Memories. The people who have placed here.
It's the second time we've come across something like that. The souls of happy people being corrupted into these monsters.
That mark in the temple. They tried to got people there and they thought it was some sort of ritual. And this is a place of marriage and community building. Another ritual. Is that a pattern?
It feels like it. But the question is, how do we stop it?
Supposing whether to stop it, we must find out what it wants to do, what it wants to achieve first.
Is this? No, it couldn't be. No. No.
What is it?
I was just thinking, is this what happened to my family? But no. No. Tahirli, how are you doing? You got pretty banged up there.
You can see that Tahirli is still pretty jazzed, but like they're like jazzed and like wired and like ready to go, but they are also like on the verge of passing out. Like, you know, once this like magic is out of their system, they will be crumpled onto the ground, like barely clinging onto life.
We're going to spend some time to recuperate. Come on.
Taj is gonna pick Tahirli up, like both arms, like a big person picking up a small person, and take them closer to the fire, and just be like, "Yeah, well, gosh, what's left of anything that we had 10 minutes before Tahirli started putting everything on fire? Maybe we'll start a new, safer fire that we can all get warm around."
You are able to find there are some would appear to be remains of like settlement homes that you could rest on the bottom. It looks like this might have been just at most like a town hall kind of equivalent where people would meet to discuss things. You see that like there's like scraps of what must have been an old charter of some kind. You see like just scraps of phrases that are left near the bottom of it, and then across the top there's something that says roughly to the equivalent of love, to love and all of its blessings.
Let's start a fire and just try and recover as best we can.
Yeah. Fierisa also has like just like giant gash on her as well, I think, and is just looking a bit poisoned. I suppose it's just a really sad thing to see something that used to be so beautiful become corrupted and violent and destructive. I think when I was someone else before, or perhaps I just became connected to whatever lingered here. I knew these thistles and knew someone who believed that even though there are more dark than light in the world, the light makes it worthwhile. We'll get through this together, and hopefully we can find Dimitri soon, and he shall give us some answers.
We've got quite a journey ahead of us.
Tahirli's just heavy breathing, just trying to calm down their like heart palpitations and like she's going through it.
Bella has remained quiet throughout this entire thing. You just kind of see she's taken the last bit of wood that was left over from the Thistle Hydra creature and is just carried on and just found a spot, letting the bedrolls like dry off and everything. And everyone is thankfully, because you've set a fire and you've dealt with things, you are going to avoid anything like hypothermia this evening because you immediately addressed it. But this is an important question I want to ask mechanically. How long do you stay here to recover? How many nights? Do you stay 1? Do you stay 3? Or do you stay even longer than that? The difference is that if you take a short rest, which is just a single night, you can restore to strength, will, and dex. However many successes you roll for that, that's what you restore. If you take 3 nights rest, you get strength, will, and dex automatically back to max, and you recover a d10 in vitality. And some of your party is very hurt right now. So it's a question of which do you want to do? It will delay you if you do the 3 days, just as a note.
That's fine. I'm used to being late.
Is there any way to recover outside of some kind of healing what we can do to each other?
You would have to have a spell of some kind that lets you do that. Otherwise,
see.
this is well, actually, hold on. There is one quick thing I do believe. Let me see. There it is. Ink also functions as a curative tonic. For every 100 drops of ink consumed, you regain 1 vit. However, the ink will build up in your body over time, and if you consume 1,000 drops of ink cumulatively, you will drop to 0 and fall unconscious. Your body will cleanse itself of ink, and the cumulative total resets after a long or full rest. So if you are willing to put down ink to help heal Tahirli, it does come from your stores. And I will say, both of these creatures, the bodies can be harvested from, but that will also take time. But it may prove worthwhile to do so, considering you may want 3 nights here anyways.
Yeah. If we were spending 3 nights, might as well harvest the rotten trees. The ink is quite expensive. We don't have that much of it. So if we could afford the time, we should take it easy.
Yeah, may as well use the resource. Acquire the resource. Did we get ink earlier from something?
You all started with 100 bits of ink.
Okay, we didn't get any ink from
You haven't
any
gotten
other
any
guilds.
additional. You haven't gotten any additional ink as of yet.
Cool.
Just double checking. It's magic. Where's the? I know there's a. I have to just find it somewhere in the document where the harvesting ink kind of thing comes from, because I know it's here. I will look into that, but feel free to talk amongst yourselves while I'm sorting that out.
Yeah, I vote wholeheartedly to stay the frick here. Because is the hurt. Is the hurt.
What did you get down to?
1 vitality.
Jesus Christ. Damn.
I figure it was low, so I'm like,
Mhm.
gonna keep.
Yeah,
Gonna keep
no.
him alive.
There's the low, and then there's
Then there's
low,
securely.
and
Yeah.
then there's me.
'Cause I
Where
was gonna
like
use it on myself if it becomes bad because I have 5 left, but not
yeah,
1.
Not one.
yeah, no. Like I was
There we
hitting
go.
that, and like when you said like, oh hey, you get it's 12 points like 12 points of damage. I'm like,
That was
cool.
crazy. Yeah, that's so much damage.
That's fine.
So
Because
if
if
you
it was one more, I would have cried.
so here's the deal. I'm gonna put this at it would take 4 total days to harvest the ink from both of the creatures.
Oh damn.
However,
Okay.
the roll you get to do because it's a number of days is equal to combined vit dice, which both of these creatures were 2d10. I rolled really low for their health, and you did very well in your hits, especially Taj. That crit saved you a lot of trouble. But here's the deal. If you are willing to spend 4 days here, which would be a long rest and then a short rest roll, which doesn't really matter because the long rest will cover the first bit anyways, but the vit roll is important. You will get to roll 1d10,000, and that's how much ink you harvest. Yes. When it's 1 vit dice, you roll a d10. When it's 2 vit dice, it's 1d100. When it's 3, it's 1d1000, and when it's 4, it's 1d10,000.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The bigger the creature is, or the total amount of vit dice that it has, it increases the range of total ink you can harvest.
Gotcha.
So I'm here for the D. Jesus
10,000.
Christ.
Jesus.
The
we
D.
carry it?
Holy G. Willikers Batman.
I mean, you're not gonna. It's not guaranteed you will get 10,000 ink. I want to make that
Yes, it
clear.
is.
It's just you.
It
Yes,
is.
it is.
But
That's
even
exactly
half
what I heard.
is still significant.
No,
So-
like, even if it's just 1,000, like how heavy is the ink? Can we carry it?
I believe it. I believe I put it at like around 100 ink a slot.
Okay,
Right.
so it's slot based.
Yeah, because we don't have that much slot.
Yeah.
And I'd rather keep magic, It's gonna come in handy.
You don't have to take all of the ink. I'm just saying this is what
Yeah.
will
Yeah, no.
you are capable of harvesting from doing all this.
Hey, Bella, can you drop all your stuff?
I mean, we're already.
NPC it, like all this ink
Like, I'm already here to be like, yo, the way that I see it is we're already going to spend 3 days here because I'm not moving anywhere until I can,
function and not die from another hit.
Yeah. So I'm not going anywhere until, shit happens. Like I'm good to continue the adventure. So
I will
like
also
we're already going to
say-
be here anyway, and I know that's going to take about like what 3 days.
It'll take 3 days. And also here's the other
Might
thing.
as well.
Because you know 100 ink a piece will restore 1 vit, you don't necessarily have to carry all of what you harvest at the end of that.
Mhm.
You could spend it to help get back your vitality. You will have to keep track of how much you do end up consuming, because that will become relevant potentially later. But that is another thing to keep in mind. Let's say Tahirli doesn't roll well to recover vit, you could just spend any excess ink to bring them back up.
Yeah. Okay.
So I literally have a dice roller pulled up right now. It's just whirling through numbers, and I will hit stop when someone calls it.
Okay. Like, are we agreed? Because I don't want to say like go.
That's what I'm asking. Are we agreed to the 4 days of stopping?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Hmm.
Okay.
Here
Let go.
we go.
10,000.
We got 10,000, didn't we?
Mhm.
We hit 10,000, didn't we?
Fuck.
We hit 10,000.
At the end of 4 days of harvesting, which will use up all of your current tools that you have available to do this. I'll say you have special equipment. We're not going to let that take a slot in your inventory for this time because I want to be nice. You are able to harvest 8,629 bits of ink.
You write that number down.
Yep. Fuck me. That's a lot of ink. No. Now, I will say for the 4 days you're going to be here, every single one of you will first have to put in 40 ink, 10 ink to protect yourselves around this place for any creatures that are coming in. No, I know, but I gotta go through the mechanics.
Net balance on that.
Listen here, you little shit. But here, I'll write that down in our channel. Jesus Christ, I don't think we ever got to roll that well.
Okay, wait. So you said for 4 nights, it's -10 per each night?
Yes, it's -10 ink for each night. You will, at the end of the 4th night from harvesting, you will be able to get this amount of gold. Or not gold, sorry, ink. If it were gold, fuck you, that'd be something entirely different.
Okay, so we're -40, but plus 8,000.
629.
Oh no, the math.
So this is, yeah, we're gonna say it's about, I think to keep it relatively fair. Yeah. Again, Abhishek and chat and I are just both jealous. We never got to harvest this much fucking ink. 'Cause we never fought that many creatures. And neither did we ever fight creatures. Well, we fought creatures. The problem was that they kicked our ass. Because our GM made echoes of us and we lost to ourselves.
We can do the math during the week, but I'm just saying we cannot possibly actually take all of the ink. So we could just say like a round number for everyone, in our slot. And then is it possible at all to set up some sort of marker to store some of the ink here in like a recognizable place in case somebody might need it in the future?
We're gonna bury it.
Like, if we get to another settlement and then we can, I don't know, share resources because.
So here's the deal. I will say this. This is not just because I love Taj's, or rather Mark's excitement about having a character think about resort plans for a fucking queer residence for everybody. Here's something from the book itself, directly from the book. When travelers find fertile grounds for humanity, they might wish to establish a more permanent safe zone. It takes 100 drops of ink to expand a camp into an outpost per resident. Once 1,000 drops of ink have been spent on an outpost, it becomes home to a shrine. Shrines are sites of permanent resurrection. They take all shapes, natural springs, ruined cathedrals, monuments to past glory, but always a print weaver resides. So if you're willing to give up 1,000 ink for this place, I would say you could reinvoke like old magics that exist here and make it so that this becomes a save point.
I mean,
yes,
we're willing to for several thousand.
No, Tahirli will say that with a quickness. Drop that 1,000 ink, homie. And because this will be the first real
this is the first real sign that this place can be retaken.
Well, it's also that, but it's also a first tangible push that they have that they're building towards the future. So yes,
Tahirli towards the future by invoking old magic. From the memory.
I don't care how it's done. I just want it done.
Listen. I just want it done. So why don't we have that? If that's the official decision from the group,
yes,
then we'll say I'll make the total price because right now the three of you would have to be working on this throughout the first few days. I will do in the additional 300 drops of ink to make it an outpost for yourselves. That way this place is safe and maintained. And we'll add that to what you've already spent to the 40. So the total cost for this to move it from not safe to an outpost, then to a shrine will be 1,300. which
Okay.
is a drop in the bucket for y'all from that, but I'm
Mhm.
just going to note it for the record
Cool.
that 1,300 ink spent to convert Fallen
Wait, what
Safe
did
Haven to a
it's
shrine.
yeah, Thistle Haven to a shrine
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
/ queer resort.
yes.
Fix that bridge.
Yeah. I never thought we were ever going to. I'd entirely forgotten about this part of it that you can make safe spots. This is genuinely like a really. This is a thing I did not expect us to be able to do, folks. So this makes me as your GM very happy because there's something that I was very excited to get to do.
So wait, if I hold 1,000 drops of like if 5 okay.
If you consume
Yeah.
a total overall, like you don't have to do 1,000. You don't have to like take a shot of 1,000 drops of ink to do this because that would fucking be a lot of ink. But once 1,000 builds up in your body, then you drop to 0. But if you were to spend like let's say like 800 drops of ink to help regain vitality, then that would be something different. But
How much do I have to gain? Like, how much ink do I have to spend to get 14 more vitality?
that would be 1,400, which you don't want to do because once you reach
No.
1,000, you will drop to 0 and then
Yeah.
have to do it again.
Yeah,
But
that's a
because
lot.
you are
Rude.
as a general reminder, folks, so you're going to take the long rest. Everyone refill strength, dex, and will.
Mhm.
So automatically those points go back to max.
Yes.
Now, Tahirli, roll a d10. That will be what you recover across the 3 days in vitality. Whatever you get from that is what you get.
Yeah, give me a sec.
So let's see how much it is.
Okay, D10. Don't suck. What did I just say? I got 3.
Okay, so you've regained 3 vitality across the 3 days. So now that you have the ink at the end of the 4th day, however many sets of 100 before you reach 1,000 you would like to spend from what you have just gained, which, as a note, you had 7,329. So however many much you want to take from that to heal yourself, and the same thing applies to Fear Hiksha too. Fear Hiksha. However much in sets of 100 you want to restore vitality that you've lost, unless well, actually for Hiksha you have to roll for vitality as well. If you recover everything, then you're fine and you don't have to spend. But let's go with
Okay. So if I can.
here we go.
Yeah. I was betrayed by the D10.
So so whatever we'll figure out all the details on mechanics and stuff for your vet in between sessions, but here is a very important thing that happens on the 4th day when you spend the 1,000 ink to invoke the magic to make this place a permanent shrine. I would say it would be most fitting to spend it where the tree used to be, the central tree. You watch as a small I'm going to go for anyone who's ever played Ocarina of Time and knows how the ancient Deku tree has a giant little seedling appear right next to it. It's just a massive seedling that looks kind of like an apple shape appears as the sign of a new tree is going to be blossoming and blooming out of that. But in addition to that, you have a visitor who arrives on the 4th day, who I will describe as a stocky and androgynous warrior with very thick black hair, battered, well-maintained armor, and they look as though they have a tabard that's emblazoned with a black goat and a faintly glowing sword.
And they just walk up to our encampment.
Yep, they walk up to your encampment.
Oh, hi, I'm Taj, and you are single. I mean, you who you are? Who are you?
I am not single, but I am available if you are interested. That's something that we can discuss. We would probably have to set down boundaries and like what the extent of the kinds of things that we're interested in doing with each other, if that's something that you're up to discussing. But my name is Vasily. It's a pleasure. And just sort of like holds out a hand, and they smell like if you've ever been to if you've ever gotten like your own personalized like perfume smell, so like of like rosewood and like other shit like that, and like vanilla or cinnamon or lavender stuff like that, like whatever your favorite combination is of those smells, Vasily just smells like that. They smell very, and I'd say for Fear Hexa, they smell like the earth.
Mm-hmm.
They smell like fresh flowers.
Hmm.
Hi. I
Uh,
suppose I should thank you all for this. And sort of walks over to the blossoming seed.
well, earlier they reached out their hand, and we do the warrior handshake of like grabbing,
Yes,
gripping each other's
Dylan.
forearms, and like, and Taj is like flexing a forearm. Uh, well, it took a lot of work. We almost died, most of us, but we managed to save this place for what it's worth.
Well, thankfully you're not dead, and keeping this place maintained and such and fixed up is going to be my job now. And you see on their as they start taking off their gloves and they start putting their hands on the seedling, you see that their their fingerprints are lit up in much the same way that yours are, as they are a traveler. But they seem a bit different than other travelers from what you've discovered. Here we go.
Have you arrived here to take care of this place? That's both
Yes,
a new thing and an ancient thing.
yes. I for whatever reason, I just felt myself being called here, and I think this is the right spot for me to be here for now. And it looks as though like seeing Tahirli, who's gotten pretty hurt but is like healed up but is still patching themselves up. It's like looks like you had a lot of trouble dealing with things. But
We
here,
are
here. Like holds up a finger, hold on. And like begins singing this very lovely like tenor voice that just sort of fills the area with sound, and you watch as the first bloom of those yellow flowers begins to return. Sorry, I just had I felt a little bit inspired and I had to let out a little bit of song. It's just I'm very excited to be here. I've been traveling for so long and I haven't really known where I was going to make my next spot, but I felt called over here, and well, you've done a lot of my work for me. So, yay, I'm so excited.
It's the most important thing. You make flowers grow. And I hope that you could also safekeep some of the things that we might leave behind. We were able to harvest quite a lot of ink from these creatures that sought to destroy.
Listen, we'll do what we can. Or rather, I will do what we can. And my friend will also do what they can. And you see, following, coming by a short ways, that there is a very curmudgeonly black goat that has been following them into the area. Also, Sword and Key, it's a pleasure to have you raiding us with the Party of Love. And hello there, folks. Nice to have you here with us. You're catching us right at the end as our group, after going through a very difficult fight, such a rough one where one of their party members almost died, but was kept alive in part by our lantern keeper psychopomp witch here, which is probably one of the best descriptions I have for Hixa. The group has made a safe zone for themselves, and now officially with the song ending, you all feel like this little warmth deep in the center of your heart. and you feel that should you die, you will return here now instead of all the way back at Belinay.
Nice.
And as you start seeing this place, it regains some of the life that it had. It returns back to maybe just a fraction of the safety that it used to have. That is where we are going to end our session for today, folks.
Could I ask the flowers permission to create a wreath out of
Yes.
those yellow flowers?
I
And
would actually say that Vasily, the print weaver who is now overseeing this place, sings to the flowers, and they like climb up into your hands.
But before we leave, can I feed like the goat a random scroll that I have in my pack?
Scroll.
Yeah, I have a random scroll. It doesn't say anything. It just says random scroll. So I was like, sure, feed the goat, make more space for carrying vials of ink because
Okay,
I'm thinking like that.
so whenever as a note for the future, when you have a random scroll amidst what you start with, tell me so I will roll what scroll you get amongst the magic stuff. But no, this feels very in character for Tahiri,
Yeah.
regardless.
Yeah.
Like, I don't freaking care about magic.
I don't magic at all.
So, with that being the case, I rolled a chance die again to see what would happen to the goat. The goat is fine because I rolled a 10. You're fine. The goat doesn't have anything. But when you look into its eyes, it almost looks like if anyone has the meme of like Space Cat just like veering off and looking into the distance, seeing just everything. That's what the goat is. We have Space Goat now. But with that being the case, that is where we are going to end our session for today. So thank you very much, everybody, for being here for episode 3, Bonds Lay Broken. This was a hell of a fight, and y'all did great in dealing with it. Those were some clutch spells, and those were some clutch thinking from your ranger rogue to try and keep that tree like unable to hit you as bad as it could, because that could have gone so much worse. So everyone, very quickly, say name, where we can find you, and who you've been playing and such. So I'm going to start it off with this time, the always impressive Mark.
Hey, what's good? It's your 41-year-old boy, Mark J. You can find me on Apochromatic Unlimited. That's on a whole other channel. We're working on our Black History Month celebration, which is coming together pretty good. We're going to see Casper there for sure. But yeah, check us out for that on our Twitch, and follow us on our socials. Follow me on my socials at GMMarkJ on Blue Sky. You know how it works. Yeah, and thanks for being here.
Fantastic. Passing it over to fine. Chad is poking me, by which I mean Avishek is poking me to call it by the creature by its proper name, the Hydrissel. So I will, out of respect for my friend, call it Hydrissel. And out of respect for my love for my cast, I will pass it on over to Casper.
Osio. My name is Casper the NB Ghost. My pronouns are they, them, and tonight I was playing Tahiri, who nearly died, but I didn't, so it's all good. You can find me everywhere at Casper the NB Ghost. I'm on my own channel. I'll be on Apochromatic Unlimited. I am on Imagine If, and a couple of other places that I can't really remember right now, but I tend to say yes to most games. So yeah, follow me on my link tree at my socials, whatever. I made it easy for me to be found. So
And next up, the always impressive mystical and magical Ran.
Hi, my name is Ren. I have been Fear Hixa, Necromancy Barbie, Arbiter of Life and Death. Thank you, chat. I am a new spirit in the world of streaming. I am really grateful for people to have welcomed me in this new arena that I'm exploring. I can be found on Blue Sky as Burdick Inspiration. That is Bird Dick Inspiration. And also other places as Rhino Riddler. And you can also find my website somewhere in the social media that is mentioned. Thank you for watching.
And I have been Angela Lemos Mogrovejo. I am your Fireburb, your actually autistic Fireburb, your Ink Master, GM, and storyteller here. It has been an absolute pleasure and honor to be with such a fantastic cast of people. And I'm looking forward to next week, in which it will basically be an excuse for me to give love to some of the cast members of my previous campaign, as they are now going to be characters in this world in a new way. And probably when this series ends, I will make this cast of characters also characters in this world now. Depending on if they're interested, they may all become print weavers or just be travelers. Knowing Tahirli, they'll just be like, I'm not going to stay anywhere. My life is the road.
Uh-huh.
My duty is the road. But we'll see how everything turns out. You can find me over in most places with Phoenix 24 Femme or Philosopheme, including my Patreon, where I have over 270 poems that I have written over the past 7 years. Yeah, I write a lot. I went 1 year where I was like, can I write like 80 poems this year? I'm going to try. And I did it early. I did it like 6 months early because I was like, I got inspired. And I will probably be posting more and more regularly there, as I'm getting inspired by some new hobbies and some new people I've been meeting, some great friends. And this story, the players do not know it yet, but I am actually making a poem that you will get to see come out once the 10th session is done. And I have the title for the 10th session.
Nice.
So
Heck
that is the
yeah.
thing to look forward to. So much love to everybody. I don't necessarily see anyone we're going to raid right now, so I think we'll just call it right there. Much love to all. Stay safe, stay warm during these pressing times. And for anyone dealing with the LA fires, please take care of yourselves, mask up to deal with everything. And whoever else in the community can go and give love and support to everyone there, get resources, get masks, volunteer. Just community aid is big, and it helps keep our communities thriving and alive and surviving. So we only get through these things with each other. Much love to everybody, and I hope to see you next week as we continue our story of Belinay, the Deathless Lake. Take care, everybody.